Holy moly, taking that thumbnail was really difficult. My hand hurts from holding all of the books. Hi, hello, my name is Amy Prokopis and I am an author. I have written books like the young adult science fiction romance, The Arena, and the young adult fantasy romance trilogy, Guardians of the Sixth Gate. Book 2, Shade of the Shadowlands, came out in May, and Book 3, Mistress of Shadows, is coming out October 30th. So, welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. I'm gonna have to come up with a new intro soon because that's getting to be really difficult to say, and I have published a lot of books and will be publishing many more, so it's gonna have to switch it up. Today, we are talking about Camp NaNoWriMo. If you don't know, NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month, and that is in November, but the organization of NaNoWriMo has some offshoots. So there's a camp, which is where you get to work on kind of like whatever project you want. You get to set the word count. The goal is not necessarily to write an entire novel. Sometimes people edit. Sometimes people are finishing up books. They do all kinds of things. But there's 2 different camps. There's an April camp and a July camp. And last year I did July camp, and it just fell at a really good time for me right before I go back to work because I'm a school counselor. So right before things get incredibly busy. So I am doing it again. So here we are. This is the announcement video for Camp NaNoWriMo 2023 July. I have a lot of different projects going on right now, and a lot of projects that I will be working on throughout July. So I thought that not only could I use this video to introduce and announce the project I'm working on, but maybe I could use this video to also kind of organize my thoughts and better lay out for YouTube purposes the different projects I'm working on and when they will come out, because it's getting really confusing when I talk about them in the vlogs. I apologize. And it's starting to get a little confusing if you look on my social media to tell exactly what I'm working on. So I'm going to better lay them out. And I think I'm actually going to, in this video, for the first time, lay out like ways to best identify these projects so that it's easier to tell visually and verbally which ones I'm working on as I'm working on them through the fall. Let's go walk the backyard while I explain all of my plans, shall we? Speaking of all plans, I made notes. We're gonna start by talking about Camp NaNoWriMo July 2023, which is starting this week, actually. Holy moly, we only have like 2 days away. And for Camp NaNoWriMo this year in July, I am finishing Angel's book. And Angel, he is a character that was introduced in Shade of the Shadowlands, which is book 2 of the Guardians of the Sixth Gate trilogy. It came out in May, and I love this character so much that I had to explore him more. I could see an entire backstory. I like instantly saw where the story would go. And so Angel will have his own book series. His book is going to be much more romance forward, and you can kind of, if you've read Shade of the Shadowlands and you know much of Angel's like the entire story of him being in Shade of the Shadowlands, then you kind of will get an idea what this book is about. I don't want to spoil too much, but Angel is searching for something, and that is the overarching plot. But along the way he runs into a girl and they fall in love. And so his series is, while it is about that overarching plot, it is quite a bit more, at least in this book, the romance and falling in love and what that looks like when you are a vampire, because Angel's book is a vampire romance. So that is what I am working on in camp this year. It's Angel's book. I think I have a title picked. I don't want to really start using it yet, even in acronyms, because I don't want to get mixed up, especially if I do alter the title. That changes this a lot. But so for now, it's just going to be Angel's book. And right now I'm sitting at 26,000 words, 26,403 words to be precise. That is of today. I just looked. So that is where I am in that project. And because in camp, NaNoWriMo, you can set your own goals. You don't have to have that write a novel in a month goal that the normal NaNoWriMo in November is. My plan for Camp NaNoWriMo is just to finish his book. That way, going into the fall, all I'm doing is editing and publication things. That is a whole lot easier to balance with my busy schedule, even though I am doing a lot of books. So it kind of adds to that, but that is the goal. I want to finish writing Angel's book for Camp NaNoWriMo July. So that's camp. Now, let's go ahead and let's start talking about some of those other projects that I have going on and where we will be with them going into the fall. I'm realizing that this is going to be a lot more of a video about my publication timeline going into the rest of 2023 and then into 2024. So I'm going to have to do lots of on-screen diagrams here, guys. So hopefully it works out and it makes sense. Firstly, let's pick up with a series, or pick up where we left off with a series that is coming to its conclusion. So we have, over the course of this last year, 2023, we saw Guardians of the Sixth Gate, the first book in October, and then the sequel, book 2, Mistress of Shadows, came out in May. The final book in that trilogy is Mistress of Shadows, and it comes out October 30th. So where are we with that project? I've just finished my own edits. I'm still tinkering a little bit. Today I am going to sit down and I'm going to try and book my editor. So hopefully I will be able to book her in July or August. I'm thinking August was probably more doable for her, but hopefully I'll be able to book her. That way we can start doing final edits. And once final edits are done, I can book my cover designer. So hopefully we're looking at like an August-ish professional edit timeline so that my editor can have it and I can make adjustments. And then September, I can finish up cover design. I already know what the cover will look like. And I think she already has the design picked. There are just a couple elements like colors and things I'll have to give her. That way they're all cohesive across the series. And that is where I am with Mistress of Shadows. We are wrapping up, and so getting it finished is a whole lot easier than, like, say, any other book where you have to kind of collaborate and come up with design things a little bit more, like it takes more time to do that. Since Mistress of Shadows is the final book in the trilogy, and all we're doing is continuing the storyline, continuing themes, continuing the same art for the cover, it is a whole lot easier to just like blaze right on through. So that's Mistress of Shadows. So right now, that's where I am, is still tinkering with my edits, although it is mostly finished and ready to go off to my professional editor. Next is moving into the winter season, which is my winter release, my very first winter book, Winter Witches, which is a romance with a witchy twist, takes place at Christmas time. It's not exactly a Christmas book, although Christmas is mentioned in it. That is when this takes place. I have plans for that to become an interconnected series. My plan is to do 2 more winter books because there are 2 more sisters. Book 1, Winter Witches, follows Madison Sinclair. This book is a fake dating romance. The second book will be about the middle sister, Margot, and I think it's going to be a friends to lovers theme trope. And then the last one in the winter arc will be Marley, which is the younger sister. It'll be Marley's story. And I think Marley's is going to be an enemies to lovers because I can already see those characters perfectly and the dynamics that they would have. So that is a little bit about Winter Witches. Right now, I just finished my edits. I feel very confident in the editing and the storyline and where I have Winter Witches right now. I really like this story. It's adorable. Oh my gosh, it's adorable. It makes me swoon thinking about it. I love the story and the characters. So I'm finished with the writing portion. This last week I got the illustrations back. Instead of hiring a cover designer, I decided to do the cover myself. I've been spending a lot of time learning how to do that and playing with some ideas. I've been doing that over the last couple months. It's been kind of a secret project of mine, although I've talked about it, so it's not so secret now. But I hired an illustrator to do character art that I will then incorporate into the cover. So the cover is finished. The only thing I need to do is, once I get the book completely finished, I'm going to have to finalize the cover size. So I have that, but the paperback cover and the ebook cover are both done. That's finished. And my plan for July is to do a Christmas in July week and release fun sneak peeks of that book, and the cover will be one of those. So Christmas in July, that will be July 25th, the week of July 25th. Be on the lookout for that, for fun things. So that is some of the promotional stuff. As far as publication, what's left? I am still playing around with maybe using a different editor for this book. So I have not had it professionally edited. It's just me. So in the sense of writing the book, it is in the same stage as Mistress of Shadows. They both need to be professionally edited before I can finalize interiors and such. But Winter Witches is by far closer to that point, to being finished, than I would say Mistress of Shadows, just because I'm doing so much of it myself. I don't have to collaborate as much. And the editing's not going to be as intense because it is a standalone, and I don't have to worry about making sure all the details are the same across several books because it's going to be a standalone. So Winter Witches is in a good spot. I will release the publication date the same time I do Christmas in July for that release, so be on the lookout for that. But in relation to my overall publication lineup, it is planned to come shortly after Mistress of Shadows. So Mistress of Shadows comes out October 30th. Winter Witches is a planned November release in time for the Christmas holiday season. Moving into the winter season, there is something that I did last year and really enjoyed and was really successful that I plan on replicating again this year. So since we were just talking about Winter Witches, last year I wrote Winter Witches in the month of December as a challenge for myself to try and write a romance book, but also to try and write a book in a month, and I was successful. So for me, December tends to be like a lower workload because a lot of December we are on Christmas break at school. I work in a public school. I'm a school counselor. So for us, the beginning of December, we are just wrapping up scheduling things for the next semester. And then the rest of December is completely off for me. I'm at home, and with the weather being the way it is sometimes here in Oklahoma, I don't tend to go out. I just enjoy being at home with my family. So I get a lot of extra time to myself. So I am going to, yet again, in December this year of 2023, plan to write a book in a month, and that book will be the sequel, or the kind of the next in the arc to Winter Witches, which is the second book, which will be Margot, the middle sister. It'll be her romance book set in the same place as Winter Witches is. It'll be the same setting, but a year later, and we'll pick up with Margot's story. If you've read Winter Witches on my Patreon, then you kind of already know where that story will pick up with Margot, because there was a little bit of setup in Winter Witches for Margot's romance. Margot's romance is going to be a friends to lovers, I believe, like a rekindling of friends to lovers. They'll come back together after they hadn't seen each other since high school, and things will be different. And I'm excited to explore that. Margot is a lot more mellow than Madison, but not so serious as Marley. So she's a nice middle ground. I feel like I relate to her quite a bit too, whereas maybe I don't so much the other two. So it'll be fun to write about her. So in December, after we have published Mistress of Shadows, so the Guardians of the Sixth Gate series will come to an end. We will then publish the first book for Winter Witches, that first standalone. And then straight after that in December, I will be launching into this project, which is the Write a Book in a Month project, which will be Margot's story. This is the point where I needed my notes. So here's my little note post-it. And we are now going to talk about projects I haven't yet done much for into the spring, so 2024. This is where camp comes full circle. So this month in July, for Camp NaNoWriMo, I am writing Angel's book, and in the spring, I will be publishing his book. So in December, while I am doing, well, in the fall, but mostly December, while I am doing the 1 month challenge and I'm writing that book, I will be finishing up the publication process for Angel's book. Angel's book, I'm hoping to have done and get the publication done for, so that I can have it published early in the spring. I would really like for like a February release because it is a romance, but if not, February or March would be good. So Angel's book is planned to come out in the early spring. I'm really excited about it. I think you guys are gonna love this romance. So while I am doing, especially in December, the 1 month book challenge, I will be finishing up publication for Angel's book. It'll be a lot different because this will be a start to a new series. I do plan on making Angel's book a series. So we will start a new adventure in hopefully February-ish with Angel. After or while I am publishing Angel's book in February/early spring, that is when I'm going to start writing a new book. This is much more of a fantasy book. I haven't written anything fully fantasy in a while, and I've missed that. And I had the idea for this really cool book that I think is going to be great for the market because at least at this time, the Fourth Wing is taking off, and that is going to be a series. This book is not like Fourth Wing, but it is also a dragon book. So I am going to be working on this one. This, I think, is going to be a long book. It will also be the start of a series, and it will be a kind of a like an arranged marriage trial kind of book, a trial for marriage in a sense. So think the Hunger Games a little bit, or even better, Serpent and the Wings of Night, but dragons. It's a really fun book. I've already played with it a little bit. I've been in the process of developing the mythology for this world because it is fully fantasy. I'm hoping to write that book, start fully writing it in the spring. So right now I'm tinkering with the mythology. I'll be doing a little bit of the outlining in December, and then I'm going to start writing it when I publish Angel's book in the spring. Then it's fully onto the dragon book. And I'm hoping, ideally, that I could get this book published in time for the summer because I think it would fit really well with summer themes. If not, then it's going to be closer to the fall, but I think that I can get the dragon book published in summer of 2024. And then from there, we roll around to sequels for Angel's book, also sequels for this dragon book. And then we're looking at the publication for the other Winter Witch book, Margot's book. So kind of gives you a glimpse into 2024. Also, that's kind of how it happens when you write in this series. Everything just falls into place super easy when you're planning out publications like that. But I think that's pretty much it as far as planning and what I'm working on for the time being. Thanks for sticking with me for this whole rambly thing. It's getting really hot out here, so let's go inside. So I think that's everything. I'm still kind of flushed from being outside. Sorry, guys. Hopefully that made it a whole lot more clear, all of the projects that I'm juggling and what I'm working on and kind of when I'll be working on them. I am gonna insert like a graphic so that it makes a little bit more sense. So we'll have that. also so you can tell. Thank you guys for listening to this rambly video. I will be, of course, including all of my camp experience, how I'm doing with camp, writing Angel's book. I will, of course, be including that in the vlogs. Vlogs will now take over more of that kind of a feel as we go through July. So be on the lookout for that. Thanks for watching. Click down below, there's a link to all of my books in the link tree. I am also still currently giving away book 1 in the Guardians of the Sixth Gate trilogy for free. So download Guardians of the Sixth Gate for free from BookFunnel. There's a link below. Follow me everywhere on social media. I'm super active on Instagram and TikTok. And join me for live writing sprints every single Sunday at 8:20 Central Standard Time. So that's it for the time being. Whew, I need like to sit down or something after talking about all that. It sounds like a whole lot. So until I see you guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye.